are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to another Old Skool Retro Discussions. It's so good to be back after all the things that have been plaguing me lately and not being able to do this show. And before we start saying anything else, just say hello to some of the people that already popped in the chat. I've seen Keely Chow dropped in way earlier. What's going on, Keely? Lasso with Truth, always in the house promoting our show. Lasso, it means a lot. Thank you so much. We also got our resident vampire in the house, Draven. Guys, be sure to share this one out because, as many of you may have no Twitter played the games with me just like LubeTube does, and they locked out my freaking old Twitter account. So half the people that would have been able to see this stream when we're going live and my promotion for it are not able to see it anymore because only a small fraction of the people realize that my original account has been locked out and it's not active anymore. So, hey, what's going on, CJH? Echo, really? Echo? It should be from my end. I'm wearing my headphones.
Oh, yeah, there is an echo, Tommy. Well, I thought like it was because you had your camera on, you're like Guinea Pig Collective sort of thing.
I wonder. Let me stop the camera. Did it stop?
No, it's still echoey.
That's weird. I don't know why it'd be doing that. It sounds like I'm in a cave. Yeah, we're in a guinea pig cave. That's the way it works. I don't know. Yeah. I have been having a lot of problems with this mic lately. So it probably more than likely is the mic. I think the mic is dying. I don't know. Here, let me mess with the sound a little bit on it. See if we can't fix this right up. Because there's nothing worse than having a mic that's not working properly.
Well, it's working out. It sounds like 1930s mics.
Does that sound any better?
No.
There's probably not a lot I'm going to be able to do with it then.
Yes,
I thought for sure it was the camera because I know the camera does have a mic on that too, but usually when you have another mic active, it deactivates the secondary one. Yeah. I'm just going to roll with it, CJ. There's nothing I can do about it now. Like I said, I've been having problems with this mic for a while, and if I had my new setup, I wouldn't have to worry about that because I have a brand new mic with a boom and everything ready to go, but I have nowhere to put it on the current setup that I'm using right now. So it is what it is. But like I said, guys, make sure to share it out. Most people don't realize it's me on Twitter. They probably think it's a bot account or somebody stealing my name. What's going on? Pale Rider. The echo isn't repeating. Just sounds like you're in an empty room. Okay. Hey, you know what? It might also be because I have like setups around me that for stuff I'm going to show off later. So I don't know if maybe that's creating a bit of an effect with it. Who knows? I'm not going to worry about it. It is what it is, and we're just going to go ahead and move on. But one of the things I want to talk about real quick before we get started with anything, let's show the guinea pigs. What are the guinea pigs up to? Rorschach is just being goofy because that's what he does. But one of the things I want to talk about is we come in here week after week and we talk about the old school stuff that we love so much and these companies that are doing it wrong. And it's one of the reasons that we talk about the stuff that we love so much from the past. The stuff that we would like to see preserved and the stuff that mainstream media just does not seem to give a rat's ass about at all. So I know there's a lot of people that always talk about, oh, well, you got to do this and you got to do that. Well, you know what? Here's what I say you got to do. You got to support creators who are giving you something different, giving you something more akin to the stuff that you remember, the stuff that you love. And that's why I've supported so many different independent creators. This is something that needs to be pushed more. This is something that needs to be talked about more. I've gone through almost every single one of these. And you know what? They have been incredible. Every single one that I have backed have been incredible. I love every single one of them. This is the type of entertainment that we want to see. This is the kind of stuff that we should be spending our money on. Not the garbage that these companies are putting out and just to sit there and hate watch on them. Give them freaking money for something that they obviously don't give a shit about in the first place. And that's why they're destroying these beloved franchises of ours. But we're giving them money to sit there and for them to spit in our faces. I am not doing it anymore. I don't want to hear it. I've stopped supporting a lot of these companies many years ago. Like, I know a few of them, it's been since probably like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. I've had enough of it. And this is why I like to talk about the old stuff. So, what's going on, Soul Assassin? The guinea pig speaking. So it shall be done. CJH, I'd love to support Indiegogo, but I need to know for a fact that I'll get the merch. You know what? There's quite a few of those. All the projects that I just showed, CJH, from Infinitale Chronicles. Well, Bonds is the first one is not available anymore, but Sunscorn, Wings of Vengeance still is. All of Vinny art's work is done. Everything is available. The only one that you might have to wait on is if you support Shadow of the Kraken, because he's in the middle of just starting to really fulfill that thing. So if you place an order now, it might be a while for him to get to it. It's not going to be a year or nothing like that. It might take, 20, 30 days for him to get to the bottom of the list because he's one man working on everything, trying to ship everything out. But all these other ones, like Six Gun Gorilla was another one. I ordered that in less than 3 days. I had the book in my hand. There's a lot to be said about what these guys are doing. You're backing the right people that are giving you good stories and giving you the merchandise almost immediately after you order it. There is nothing wrong with that. That is how it's done. What do you got there, Draven? Yeah, it won't be 2 years. No, it won't. And what's going on? Superfan Abishalhan, and I know the Wiener Dog Clan is right there hanging out with you. What is up, buddy? It's like an abusive relationship. People just keep coming back and give excuses on why they do it. Yes, exactly. Like the abuse house.
Exactly. It's like if you're gonna have children being sacrificed, at least sacrifice it for masculine action, as I say. But some of these soy nerds, it's they're letting kids get sacrificed for soy like crap that is like totally not worth even like bad kids getting sacrificed for.
I'm kind of curious. I've seen Pale Rider's got the Natverse one up there with an art piece by him. I mean, I know I have the Natverse one sitting up there. It's actually one of the ones that's sitting right in the dead center. So I know I picked that one up and read that one. It was another good book. And I tell you what, I was really, really impressed with the Six Gun Gorilla one too, as well as everything that Vinny has sent me, especially Through the Woods. And I did have the chance to actually sit there and read Shadow of the Kraken before he even went into fulfillment to help him out with, some of the stuff that he needed to possibly look over in case there was changes that need to be made. Basically quality control, looking for editing and stuff like that. And that story blew me away. It was absolutely incredible, and I can't actually wait to get the book to reread it again. I have no complaints with anything that he has done in that thing. It's by far, I think it actually, I don't know how, but I think he has actually surpassed Through the Woods on that one. Absolutely incredible book from beginning to end. And it kind of agitated me the same way Chris Fisk's book agitated me, that I wanted more I wanted more. It didn't feel like it was finished enough for me. Like it just needed just a little bit more. And that's a sign of somebody that's telling you a good story when you get done reading it and you want more. And that's the way it should be.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants any more of that Obi-Wan soy.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm one of the ones that didn't care about it in the beginning. I didn't care about it. I didn't want to hear about it. I didn't want to talk about it. Matter of fact, last person that invited me on the stream to talk about that shit was Walton. And I told him, I said, dude, I don't want to talk about this crap anymore. I don't want to give this fucking company any attention. I said, when you're done talking about it, I will pop back on the stream. Until that time, see you. Muted my mic, dropped my headset, and walked away. What's going on, Chris YZ? Good to see you, buddy. I hope you were doing well. On break now, huh? Hey, man, always working. This guy's always busy. Nat verse 2? Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. I should make my channels under attack videos because I lost 1,000 subs. Wow. Yeah, they're playing the games again. LubeTube is definitely playing the games. I need to get Six Gun. Yeah. He's got a collected version of that, Angelus, with the first 6 stories. Incredible book. Absolutely incredible. It didn't even go the direction I thought just from the original artwork that I've seen. It wasn't going exactly how I thought, and I was overly impressed with it. I couldn't recommend that one enough. And the same thing with Vinny. I mean, Through the Woods, like if you want a good jumping on point, Through the Woods, City of Venus, incredible. And if you get a chance to back Shadow of Kraken and you want to wait for that one, like a little bit for him to fulfill all the shipping that he's going through right now as he just starts his shipping on that for everybody that's already backed it, dude, jump on that one. It is totally incredible. I'm telling you, I've read through it. Absolutely top notch. What's going on, Pop? Good to see you, buddy. Death by Saber, what's up? I know you were looking for something, Death by Saber. As soon as I have a chance, I will get it out to you. Unfortunately, my internet has been absolute shit today, and I spent the past 4.5 hours trying to upload a little bit to my stream today, so I had some clips to play. Sunsworn, Wings of Vengeance, absolutely. That's another great one. Red Gaze, and I'm waiting friggin' on March of the Dominion, man. I am waiting on that book. Because that first novel, oh, man, Edge of Annihilation, absolutely incredible. I read that one twice. I mean, there's so many good creators out there giving you exactly what you want, what you love. Another one that I had backed, and I'm still waiting for the book, because Amazon is doing whatever, and it's actually been delayed, is The Dega Outlaw. I am waiting on that book. I can't wait to read that. What's going on, Superfan?
What's up? What's up? What's up? It's true. It's true. It's damn true. The Superfan, along with Frank and the Wiener Dog Clan, are here to entertain you all with Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. Nibble, nibble, baby.
And man, always good to have you on. What's going on? Frankie knows. I know Frankie. I think Frankie's supposed to be doing something tonight later, ain't he? Frankie, aren't you doing something tonight? If you are, like, drop your link if you can. I don't remember if Frankie's been modded on the channel or not. Unfortunately, I'm having problems with the internet, and I can't jump on. If not, somebody else can drop his link for him. I'd appreciate that. But I'm looking for will complete me like the joke. Okay, all right, yeah. Once I get a chance, I'll look for it, man. I will look for it. If I wasn't in a writer's block, I'd work on my own creation. 13 verse, not to mention I lack the funds or know-how to even do an Indiegogo or ship things. Well, that's one of the things, CJ. There's a lot of options out there for people right now. A lot of people are actually, what they're doing is they're taking their stuff and they're uploading it to Amazon, because Amazon pretty much does all the work for you. Granted, it's just not high-grade quality like some of the stuff that you're seeing from Vinny, Nerium, Chris Fisk, like all these guys. They're doing stuff in like high quality. The pages, the covers, like everything is amazing. You get a little bit less than that with Amazon. It's a little bit cheaper, but you know what? It would be an easier way for you to get it out if you just don't have the means to actually do it yourself. All you have to do is put the story together, get it in I think it's a PDF format. I think don't quote me on that, but I think it might be a PDF format. Send it to Amazon along with whatever images you want, and they will print it up. So. You guys are talking. You guys up to no good, just like I always am. Oh, you just uploaded some corny jokes? No, that's okay, Frankie. People should stop by and check out what you're doing anyway. What's going on? Todd Prop, good to see you.
Yeah.
Planning on making a tribute video? Oh, no!
What's really funny, Tommy, is my Frank is hearing you say Frankie knows, and he keeps looking at the computer like, yes, Tommy, can I help you?
Hey, you know what? You're very important too, Frank. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Woof, woof.
That's right, huh, bud? Yeah, he's still trying to figure out where his nuts went.
Thank you, Lasso. Thank you. So, guys, one of the
Skywalker. Obi-Wan Snob. Sorry.
Yeah, well, you know what? Since you want to bring that up again, I do have something else that I could show off real quick. Let's see if I can get this camera working right. So, these are a couple things that I had from a while ago, and normally I wouldn't be showing anything off, but these are from 2005, so I have these. Oh, let me make myself big on the screen. Transformers Star Wars crossovers, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker.
Nice.
Never opened these. These were always wall hangers for me. So they're exactly like they were in the store.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have gotten some more. Like, I would have liked to got the little Darth Vader TIE Fighter, and I know they actually had another Darth Vader who was he was the Death Star. And then they had a Han Solo. It was either Han Solo or Chewbacca was like the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah, you know what? At the time, there was no way I could afford over $80-some-odd to buy those big-ass things. They were just huge. So huge.
Those are cool, but it would have been even more cool if when you got all of them, like they made the Death Star, like you'd have a big ass Death Star, and plus then people would go out and buy more because you want two sets. So you'd have the Death Star and then all the figures in between. But yeah, Transformers, man, I wish they would have just kept on making good stuff, man.
Now, these are ones that I'm not going to open, no Time Prophet. Like, most of the times I will open most of these ones. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave them as they are. Nice. Yeah, go ahead. Put that stuff out there, CJ. Work on that stuff, man. There ain't no better time than the present because everything else out there right now is shit. Do your own thing. This is how you show the mainstream and you show all the idiots out there that want to back mindless projects from these no-good son of a bitches that are putting this shit out like Disney and even Warner Brothers to an extent. But thank God Discovery is kind of like slapping them around a little bit. Hopefully they right that ship. That would be nice. Keep them in the box. I have the Vader TIE Fighter and they're not cool. I remember they did a whole bunch of, besides the Star Wars crossovers, they also did Marvel crossovers as well. Why buy a toy if you're not going to open it? Yeah, usually I would, but once again, these are the ones that I really had no interest in open. I just got them for the crossover aspect of it. So, yeah, I do get a few like that I have no plans on opening. Another one I'm not planning on opening is any more the Batman 66, if I pick any more up, because there's no posability in those figures, whatever. The posability is shit. They're basically wall hangers, and that's all they're good for.
That's what I love about your reviews, man, because I sent you when I got my Undertaker, which you had already shown. I'm like, okay. I was like, man, as a matter of fact, you were the reason I ended up getting it. Plus, it looks real good on the wall, my wrestling wall. But, yeah, I don't have any intent of ever opening mine. But if it did, that's fine. I already know it's a good figure. Thanks to you.
No, my pleasure. I mean, when I see things and I say that they look awesome, I'm going to say so. Yeah, Draven, exactly. It depends on the figure. And CJ, stop worrying about that, man. Just take it one idea at a time, man. That's how you start it. When you start like having like 10 million different ideas at once, just single out the idea where you're starting at. Get a focal point and a starting point. Because if you don't, you never get it completed, and then you're always going to be sitting there saying, "Damn, I should have did that." Well, now's the time to do it, and there's no better time than the present. I have to take my sonic screwdriver back to the shop that only bleeps and don't open fecking doors. Yeah, one to play and one to stay. Yeah, I've seen people do that too. I have to open, and I open most of them. Like if they're Transformer related, I'm opening them. But these ones they're a bit of a different beast, and they're not getting opened. One day I may sell them. I don't know. Who knows?
I did break down and open my Mr. Potato Heads because I don't care. I like Mr. Potato Heads. They're funny because I got the Marvel ones and then they had the DC ones mixed in with the Marvel ones. So, but yeah, I kept the boxes so I could always put them back in at any point in time, for moving reasons and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, there's the only stuff I won't open. I mean, like the Hot Wheel cars and stuff because they are on the wall, but like if one of the grandkids were to open it up, oh well, there's your inheritance. Because when I'm dead, this shit's got to go somewhere. Poor Tommy, he's gonna be getting bombarded with Undertaker stuff. But that's the thing. There's some stuff I won't open. The WWF Signature Series, the first one. Nah, I'm not opening those myself.
Yeah, once again, like most of those type figures that they're making now, a lot of them are actually they're actually made to be left in the package. A lot of them, they're made to be wall hangers. And what's going on, Keck? Good to see you. And where are we at? Do you buy comics and don't open the cellophane? That all depends. That all depends. I have. In the past, when I used to go to the comic book store all the time, and I would buy anywhere from $20 to maybe even up to $50 of comics a week. Me and my comic book shop friend had an understanding. If he seen a #1 come through, I didn't care what it was, put it aside for me. So I had a nice pull list sitting at his shop every single week. Some of those #1s actually came cellophane wrapped. And if they were #1s, I more than likely was not going to open them. I would just get them to put them away. And I did the same thing with a few other books. Like I bought multiples of the book though. So I bought one to open and to read, and then the rest just went away for, later on.
Like Jim Lee's X-Men #1, like that was a rough one because you had all the different covers. Then you had the one cover that was all of them together because you could put them to make the picture. And then when you went through the book, you had the comic that was in there, but you had so much wall art where you would almost need two of them just to tear apart for both sides. So, but that was good old Jim Lee for you.
Yeah, I mean, this is going back in the time when people actually cared about what they were putting out.
Mm-hmm.
And those days really do seem to be just slipping away day after day, and that's why I had to start off the show talking about independent comic creators and what they're doing, creating like amazing stories, creating amazing books that you can enjoy. And then they're continuing the story. They're not just ending with one saying, hey, I gave you this good story. See you in 2 or 3 years when I decide maybe I'll do something else. No, they're doing stuff constantly. Like Vinny is one of those guys. He's a workhorse, and I'm sure Frankie can attest to that in the chat. This guy's constantly working. Nerium is another one. Gaze is always working on his next book or doing some other project with somebody. These guys are constantly doing stuff, and a lot of the other creators that I've backed is the same thing. Once they get that stuff done, they're already moving on to the next chapter. They don't stop.
Plus the cross promotion stuff, like with Red stuff, where Vinny ended up getting to do a cover, and then the other gentleman did as well. So on top of their own work. So yeah, man. I mean, these independent creators they're giving you their heart and soul, their blood and tears, man, because they're the ones that are doing the work.
Exactly.
They don't have a team, so.
I mean, well, some people may have a team, but even then, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to sit there and task people because I've got my own daughter tasked to working on a comic book for me. And it's a lot. I'm putting a lot on her shoulders. I'm doing the writing. She's doing everything else. I think that works out pretty good for me. What's going on? Lovely Sherry. Good to see you. Welcome. Taking the guinea pig cam. Yeah, as long as the cam's working, I can have the pigs out. I can't reach the cam over to Cringer and Jumper, unfortunately, because I would like to put the cam on those guys. I actually need to get a secondary cam for them. Still working on your new video. I was putting all my clips together and found one of my renders didn't have a depth of field added, so I got to re-render 300 frames. Wookie says, my mother owned a bookstore when I was little. I was given comic books to keep me quiet. By the time we moved out, the collection was massive. All got thrown away. Oh no! Somebody would die over that. Going back to college, and hopefully then I'll earn some animation skills. One of the programs in the course I'm taking. Nice. But of course, guys, one of the reasons that I'm having this stream today is I want to talk about one of my favorite characters from Transformers, and I want to talk about Megatron. How did he start? Was he always exactly like you've seen in the original G1 and Sunbow and then the comics and everything else? No, he was similar, but he was a little bit different. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start showing off those clips and talking about this starting right now.
We are going to be delving into the Transformers.
I would have waited an eternity for this.
And we are going to kick it off with one of the most popular G1 Transformer toys, the almighty Megatron.
I am the Dominator. I am the Destroyer. I am Megatron.
Now, the character of Megatron was one of those extremely cool characters, not only from the pages of Marvel Comics, but also the Sunbow cartoons that were created on the heels of the comics.
I haven't even started.
He is one of those enduring characters that, like Optimus Prime, has stood the test of time.
We are indestructible. Power to the Decepticons forever!
Now, Megatron, as we know him, did not start out exactly like we've seen him in the G1. Now, the G1 series that we know of, we know exactly what he looks like, but what did he look like prior to that? Well, in 1983, Takara wanted to infuse new life into their Microman series of figures. Now, the Microman series of figures were small little men called Micromen. They were extremely posable. The Microman line was so popular that at one point it was actually licensed off from Takara to Mego to create the Micronauts in the United States for sale, and had done extremely well. But by the end of 1982, the line began to lose steam. And in hopes of instilling new life into this series, they created what became known as the Microchange in 1983. The Microchange was going to be items like penny racers and cassette players, tape players, and these guns. Yeah, that's right, guns.
Yeah, man. I see a few people talking about Micronauts were awesome. Yeah, I had a bunch of Micronauts, man. I love those things. They were awesome. I did actually have a few of the ones that were from the Microman series from Japan as well, because we had a few of those places out in the flea markets and everything that sold them, along with the Microchange that came right over from Japan as well. Like I always talk about the U.S. Indoor Flea Market up in New Brunswick that Kevin Smith actually had in that Mallrats movie. And I used to go there all the time with my parents on the weekend, and that was one of the places that you would see a lot of these vendors that were coming directly from Japan, bringing all those things like the Go Lion series robots before Mattel got them and rebranded them Voltron in the States. Like you've seen the original Go Lion ones from Japan. You've seen all the Microchange toys from Japan, and a whole host of other Japanese product that came over that they were actually allowed to sell at that time. Now you don't see that really anymore. But I mean, that was one of the things that you'd seen in the early to mid 1980s, even part of the later 1980s. And I want to say somewhere around 1990, you didn't see it anymore, because at one point, I mean, there was everything. Like the GoBots were machine men. You've seen them all over the place in flea markets and everything. That was one of the cool things at the time, that you can get stuff not only as they were rebranded here in the States, but prior to that, what their original inception was over there in Japan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember having the same kind of a thing, man, over here. you didn't find those toys like in the toy stores or nothing. It was always like at one of the markets or something.
Yeah, and that was one of the things, like, I think a lot of people missed out on that, because I know when I got some of the ones early on, like I'd gotten Soundwave, and this is one of the ones I've always mentioned over and over. His original name in the microchange line was Cassette Man. When I got mine, I just thought it was like, oh, it's just like a Japanese, copy of the Soundwave figure.
Right.
And it didn't even dawn on me. It came out before. Like, it didn't even dawn on me. But
you're not alone. I felt the same way, bro. So, yeah.
Well, it wasn't until much later on that I started really paying attention to the stampings and everything. That's when I looked on the back of my Cassette Man, and I seen the Takara stamping. And that's when I was able to research. You remember back then, it wasn't like we had the internet that we have today, where you could just go on, search up all that information, and it was all at your fingertips. You had to go out and you had to get a book on the history of this stuff, or you had to go to a library and research it, or you had to know somebody that knew about it. Otherwise, you would have no clue. And I was actually stuck in the dark like that for a while. And it wasn't until years later that I realized, oh shit, this is part of the original microchange line. And that's when I went back and started looking, because I kept all the original packages and I see all the MC numbers on it. And I was like, how did I miss that? How did I miss that?
Hell yeah.
Man, the only thing, you can't buy a flea market is fleas unless you're hanging around with the wrong person. Micronauts did not come to Great Britain. No? Did you guys get the Micromen there, though? What's going on? Decepticon capabilities! What up? Been slacking lately? Haven't we all? But we're going to get to the next part of this, because there's actually 6 clips for Megatron. Yeah. Megatron took up a lot of my time today. Over 5 hours worth of uploading. So I hope you guys enjoy this. We're going to get into the second part right now.
So one of the first ones that they created was the MC07 Gun Robo 1910 Browning. Now the Browning came with either red or blue robot parts, in addition to a gold chromed contest piece. Now the blue version was released as the Japanese exclusive Browning. And this was a time before world outcry, especially which started with angry soccer moms, about guns that actually fired pellets or toys that fired little missiles. Now these toys, they actually had firing pellets. And following up with the gun theme, the MC11 Gun Robo SNW Smith & Wesson Magnum 44. Now this figure had a revolving chamber and came with either a brown or a gold hilt. Of course, as a robot, he came with a little sidearm, and he as well shot plastic pellets. And following up on the heels of both of those, we had the first actual Megatron figure, which was the MC-12 Gun Robo Walter P-38. Now, this toy did not include any of the gun attachments that Megatron was so popular for having, but he had a gun, a sword, and those plastic pellets for firing out of the gun. It also came with blue inner arms and legs, which was much different than Megatron, and he was available in either black with a brown grip or gray with a black grip. The gray version was actually used as an e-hobby exclusive later on as a figure called Megaplex, who was a clone of Megatron. And following up on the heels of the MC-12, at the end of 1983, we have MC-13, Gun Robo Walter P-38 Uncle. Now, this figure came with all of MC-12's parts, as well as all those gun extensions that we remember Megatron having. Now, the only difference, he only came in one color scheme, just like Megatron, silver with a black handle. He also came with those standard red inner arms and legs. Now, it is to be noted that almost every single one of these guns that came out like this with the plastic pellets that fired out of them also came with little mini targets. And the little mini targets were just supposed to be robots that they would be shooting at.
So let's see. The microbands sound familiar. Very often things in the U.S. were renamed in Great Britain, so we probably called them different things anyway. Yeah, that did happen a lot. Frankie knows. I can't remember what my box said. If it was Japanese or U.S., I had a Soundwave from the flea market. Cost about $25. I know when the original Cassette Man came out in the flea markets in the early 80s, this would have been like 82 to 83, he was actually listed as Cassette Man, and if it's the same one that you got, Frankie, he would have came with a little mini set of earphones, if it was the original Takara version, which was microchange. So if he didn't come with the headphones, then it was probably imitation Soundwave, or possibly somebody just selling one that they took out of the store, you know, the loose truck thing. I suppose toy guns in America is more dangerous than toy guns in Britain. Yeah, they put orange caps on everything. What would happen if they made a real gun with a bit of red on the end? Confuse the hell out of police. I'm sure people have done that. See, Bob Cotton, I've tipped all my guns in orange. What's going on, Cowboy? Good to see you. Yeah, so, I mean, there's a few things about that Megatron. I don't know if you guys knew any of that stuff, or if I'm imparting some knowledge that maybe you didn't know.
I'm enjoying learning again, man, because, I mean, I don't remember all of it. I remember some of what you were showing, like how he didn't come with all the pieces and whatnot of what we were used to. But it was good to see, you know, all the extra stuff I didn't know, you know. But yeah, we didn't have a computer. We didn't have Google. That shit didn't exist for us. We couldn't just Google this stuff. We had to really do research to find stuff out, or know somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Which generally was the guy that got the stuff that, you know, from the person that brought it in from Japan, you know. So hell yeah, man. This is a blast.
Well, that was
memory lane.
That was one of the things. Yeah, well, that's one of the things we had to do back then. We had to either find a book on all that stuff, or find somebody who knew a little bit more than we did to learn from them. I mean, that type of stuff is so lost now. Now most people go on Google, and the first thing they look up is Wikipedia. They get bad information. They pass the bad information on. Now all of a sudden you got a room full of idiots chirping the same wrong things.
Mm-hmm. And then Tommy outs them for it. And
I do it on the regular because I just don't care. Yeah, I rate that. Doesn't surprise me either. You had to buy collector books, or know someone who had the knowledge. Absolutely. You had to ask friends. See, we know. No headphones, but it seemed like a legit Soundwave, not a knockoff. Yeah, well, you know what? It might have been early stages right before they released the Transformers. Go ahead, Jens.
I didn't know about the Magnum sort of Transformer. Where
the 44?
Yeah. Because
that was an interesting one. I've seen that in the US One flea market along with the little brownie gun, and I was looking at them and I was thinking about asking my parents for them, but it was rare that I would get multiples in one day, so they already bought me something that day, so I probably wasn't getting it anyway. But I was looking and I was really thinking about asking for it because it looked so damn neat.
Yeah.
That 1911 dude, that was pretty badass.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that. I was like, man, they were badass. I was like, yeah.
Well, I did pick him up. I have a version of him, but unfortunately it's not complete because unfortunately most of the ones that I'm getting in most of these big collections when I'm repairing bots is they're like half pieces. So I've got to try to get more pieces and put them together the best I can. I've done that with quite a few figures where I've completed them, like Soundwave, Perceptor, Grimlock. Actually, all the Dinobots now I'm thinking about, like especially Swoop. Swoop was the worst because he had so many broken parts on him that, I bought like about 5 different lots of Dinobot parts just so I could complete one Swoop.
Sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right. They don't make
What's
it easy.
What's going on, Godzillionaire? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I said they don't make it easy, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. And then, you know what? Some of these people charge so much for these damn parts lots that it's, in the end, sometimes it's almost cheaper to just spend the extra money to buy one that's complete. Sometimes.
Right.
But I've seen some of these things, like the original Soundwave, or Shockwave rather. The original Shockwave came from a little Korean toy company called Toyka, and he was called what was called Galactic Man or something to that nature. And right now I've seen a guy selling box versions of him original box versions from that Korean company, and they're selling for over $3,000. And I'm like, yikes. And I'm like, no, I'll just buy parts.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the guinea pigs would be very appreciative of you spending 3 G's on a.
Yeah, that's cutting into their hay money, and they will not allow that.
And you're telling us we can't have Fritos? You damn human.
All right, guys, I have a few more clips to go ahead and get through. So I think we're just going to run through all the remainder of the clips, and then we can have a nice discussion about talking about the things that we remember when we were kids, and some of the other things that we bought when we were out there at these flea markets and everything, too. So let's go ahead and run through the last 1, 2, 3, 4 clips. Jesus. All right, here we go.
And in 1983 is when Hasbro and Takara also struck their deal to be able to license off the Takara toy lines, Diaclone and Microchange to bring to the United States, rebranded as the Transformers. Megatron was to be the last Decepticon that was brought out in Wave 1. And of course, being as it was released in the time when there was outrage over plastic firing missiles and pellets, this was removed from the toy prior to coming to the United States under the rebrand. Also, the sword that came with the figure is a little bit too pointy and, well, somebody might get hurt, so that was removed as well. And of course, since the pellets were gone, the targets that came with those guns were also removed from the packaging and the toy line. Megatron came standard with a 2-piece silencer, 3-piece telescopic sight, 3-piece stock, high-density infrared laser cannon. And while many people will cite that these toys were not extremely posable, they really weren't designed for posability. They were designed to be able to transform. That was their selling feature, not the ability to be super posable. Even though they did have some posability, usually in the arms and sometimes a little bit in the legs, this was not the selling feature. And as read off the box of Megatron, function, leader, motto, peace through tyranny. Megatron combines brute strength, military cunning, ruthlessness, and terror. Aches to return to Cybertron to complete the Decepticon conquest, but only after destroying all Autobots on Earth. Plans to possess all of Earth's resources, incredibly powerful and intelligent, fires particle beam cannon, and can link up interdimensionally to a black hole and draw antimatter from it for use as a weapon. He has no known weaknesses.
You have had the only warning I intend to give.
And while Marvel did an exceptional job fleshing out Megatron, it was actually the Sunbow cartoon that breathed the most life into this character and the figure. Because while not every kid read comic books, almost every single one watched those cartoons.
Oh, man. So, you guys have anything to say before we get to the next clip?
No, but I mean, I was only like 8 in 83, so I wouldn't even have thought of displaying them, man. We played with them.
Oh, I did too. I played a lot of those ones to death, man. Some of them actually started getting really loose at the end, but you know what? I kept most of mine in really good condition. I kept all the original packaging with them, and somehow most of mine, they had all the chrome on them, so they all got stolen. And if I ever find out who did it, well, there's a place out in my yard for you.
The guinea pigs will dispose of you, and it won't be quick.
It'll be slow, painful. Like my ache over the years of not having my original toys.
Heck yeah.
All right, man. Let's get on to the next one. We only got 3 more.
Now, the idea of Megatron being a gun was used for many years until people became upset about toy guns being too realistic. I really don't understand this, because if you look at a real Walter P-30E and the toy gun of Megatron, yeah, while it may seem similar, it does not really bear any resemblance to an actual firearm if you know what you're looking at. Now, I suppose if you were just, you don't know any better, maybe you could be confused, but I just don't see how. So because of this, when G2 came along, Megatron was no longer going to be a gun, he became a tank. And for every subsequent line that brought Megatron back into the toy line, from that point on, he would always be a tank. And even in 2010's release of Transformers War for Cybertron through High Moon Studios, Megatron was a Cybertronian tank. The really cool thing about this game is you finally got to take control of Megatron and wield all the power at his disposal. And when the follow-up game came in 2012 with the fall of Cybertron, again, you had the chance to take control of Megatron yet once again and actually reenact scenes that were very reminiscent of what took place in the 1986 The Transformers cartoon movie.
Who disrupts my coronation? Coronation, Starscream? This is bad comedy.
Who dares to disrupt my coronation?
Coronation, Starscream? This is bad comedy.
Megatron? Is that you?
Here's a hint.
Cowards! Is there no one left who would challenge this pretender to the throne? Fight your own battle, Starscream, unless you're a coward. When I give an order, that order is law.
Starscream, your mockery of a reign is over.
I wonder how many people missed that little bit in those games.
Yeah. Loving it, dude. Loving it. My car was my Scion was Megatron, but he was purple. It was two-tone purple with gold trim, but I had Decepticon emblems and everything on it, man. It was those bust figures that I have, the Hard Hero bust, the transfer, like I put them in the car on display in the interior on the subs and stuff. So I had I had the high end statues in my car even, and then I had Lambo doors and stuff. So my car transformed, that far anyway, as much as it could as it being a car. It was a wannabe Transformer.
Yeah, the original one does go for a high price if it's complete. I've actually sold ones where I've repaired them, where I've taken a whole bunch of different lots of these different Megatrons that were in pieces, and I put them together, cleaned them up, made them look presentable, and then sold them. And just for the figure itself, no attachments, no accessories, nothing, just the figure. I wound up getting something like $60, $70 just for that alone, and that's a loose figure. So I've seen completed versions of him with or without a box sell for anywhere in between, say, $200 to even up to $400, depending on how good the box looked.
I never had a Megatron.
I had a brand new one. That was one of the things my parents made sure to get me. They never got me an Optimus Prime, but they got me Megatron. And then after my brother was born, when he got a little older, they bought us both Ultra Magnus and Galvatron. So we each had one of them. Mine got stolen, but in a deal that I made with my brother years ago to sell all his like Sega Saturn stuff on eBay years ago, part of that deal was he gave me his Ultra Magnus and his Galvatron, so I wound up getting them back. Granted, somehow he lost half the pieces for him, but yeah, at least I have a good starting point.
You did get them, and you got a hell of a story behind it.
Yeah, awesome one. I don't know if you're piecing out or piecing in, but either way, it's good to see you. What's going on, Darren? Like my father before me. Hope you're doing well. I know I'm doing okay. Too many Transformers on Twitter at the moment. Yeah, those are the wrong type of Transformers. Those are not These are not the Transformers you're looking for.
Funny how in 2022 you gotta make that statement too. You know that these are not the Transformers we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking the ones that go, not the ones that go, hey, let's chop that off.
Not the one that's in your nightstand drawer. You know, I mean, I've sent you that picture. Like, I've got those little different Megatrons and stuff that were, you know, I did get some stuff that was pretty cool. And I do have a bobblehead and whatnot, but I never had the actual toy. Like, I never ever got the opportunity to get one. You know, as a child, I didn't have one, but it was the same thing. I had a friend that had one. Like, I'd have some, and he'd have the ones I didn't have, and vice versa. So yeah, you know, I remember trading. When you trade your toys with your friend from, you know, across the street or across the way or whatever. I remember those days and stuff, man, especially.
Yeah, I over the years I've picked up not only, you know, reacquired the G1s. I picked up all these different ones from different lines, and I've even picked up the ones that I don't even remember what they were called, but they were these big-headed little characters, but they had like the car bodies or vehicle body modes underneath them. So they had a pole at the top of the head, and it would transform the body into a robot, like an auto transform. They were like almost like keychains, but they were just little mini transformers. I picked them up. I mean, they were just so odd. And I did get the Megatron. I think I got Starscream, Optimus Prime, Cliff Jumper, and I think it was Prowl was the other one I got. And then I've got a Head Knocker Megatron. But I mean, those things span so many different types of merchandise too. That it was actually hard to not buy. I mean, at one point they even had Transformer sneakers. I don't know if you remember that.
We had Transformers almost everything, though, you know, back in the day, here in the States.
I mean, that was one of the marketing genius behind that stuff. But it was also a testament to how well the products were received by people, that they could make all those other merchandising leaps. How many franchises can you see really make that leap to all these different outlets and be able to sell well? It just doesn't happen as much anymore. People are waking up to how much all this newer stuff is just garbage, and they're just not buying it. Hence why all the new Star Wars stuff, for the most part, sits and rots on the store shelf pegs because they don't want it. They damn sure don't want the characters. What's that, Jens?
Female-led action in it, because like the Mandalorian fucking toys sold. It'd be like that with the fucking. They won't be doing any Obi-Wan fucking soybean fucking figures. But if they did, it'd be like Reva, wouldn't it? But yeah,
but there's some people that run out and buy it, Jens. You know, that's the thing. There's some people that love that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, they just don't know like good action in that. I think is like with Transformers out, there was like loads of masculine action. Even they're like pussy Transformers were masculine.
Oh God! Between what you just said and what I just seen Wookie put in the chat, this is all I got to say to that.
Jesus, it's only the biggest goddamn hole in the world.
And what's going on, Sentinel?
Well, think about it as a parent, right? Like the cartoons, your kids love them, and then they get the toys that are just like what the cartoons did. You know, they actually transform, and the kids can play with them. So by that standpoint, you know, alone, it was going to make money, and then diving it into everything else, shit. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, I was in my 30s and buying decals and stuff. The old school decals, just so I could have, like, I had a sticker on top of something. I can't even remember what it was now, but it was in my car, you know, but I wanted the original stickers, not, you know, like a vinyl where it's something that's newer and it doesn't have that chrome to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how the original stickers had that shine. So yeah, man, like I did that stuff all the time. Putting, you know, the OG stickers, and you know, even if it was a remake sticker of the OG, it's still, was spot on. And I was doing this for my car. So, let alone if I was to, people that have, Mr. Peabody restickered his original X-Wing, some of his original Star Wars stuff. He was getting newer stickers because the old ones, faded and peeled and all that. So, let alone going that route. So, but yeah, I've spent a lot of money on stupid shit and had a lot of fun doing it. But I won't waste money now. The last thing I wasted money on that was Disney Star Wars was a lightsaber. That was it. Count Dooku's when they came out with the Count Dooku saber again, I did get myself one and I was okay with it because it's still
Do you remember the early ones that they had out? They were the cheaper ones, the telescoping ones, and they had the Dooku one. It's the same as that.
Yeah, it's similar to that, except for it's all metal or more plastic. And I enjoyed these new sabers they came out with. I've got all of them up until that last run, because the last run they did, it was more from the newer movies, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying Leia's or any of that, or the Mando one came. I didn't get that one or any of those. Dooku was the last one I got.
Well, that's because Mandalorian was trash. Here, Time Prophet actually asked this earlier. I do recall the game. I never had it myself. I do recall it. Yeah, who wants a Greek cargo figure? You know what? I've seen a lot of those Mandalorian figures still sitting on the pegs. Nobody's buying them. They went out. Everybody went out and they bought the Gina one. From what I'm reckoning, I've still seen the Mandalorian on the pegs. I've still seen that. Was that IG? It's IG-10 or whatever the hell it is.
IG-88, the droid.
Yeah, well, it's a copy of him, whatever it is in the Mandalorian. It's a different identification number, but it's basically the same as him, which really doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they were Imperial assassin droids. So you're telling me Imperial assassin droids had already escaped and were running amok before IG-88 did? Because that was right after IG-88 went rogue that they wound up pretty much terminating the entire line of assassin droids.
I like Mandalorian though, because I reckon though the toys sold all right in that. It's just that they're probably, as you say, they sold a lot of Gina Carano fucking toys. Where like, oh yeah, it's my girlfriend.
Oh yeah. Well, I like my sabers, man. I've got the original one from Return of the Jedi, and that line they don't make anymore. Like, sadly enough, and I can't remember the names of it. But they came out with these newer ones, and when I held up the newer one versus the one from the 90s, man, the Master Replicas is what I had, the original one, to these newer ones. I mean, other than it was a little lighter, and I mean, obviously the LEDs are going to be brighter on the newer ones than the one from the 90s. But man, I mean, sculpt wise, size wise, they are the Black Series. There you go. See, my brain will work at some point. There really wasn't much difference other than that. The newer ones take AAA where the older ones took AA. But that was it. I mean, they look identical.
Do you remember these real old ones that they used to take? What the hell? They used to take either C or D batteries.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Because they were basically just like giant flashlights with the tubing.
I've got a couple of those. Matter of fact, I've got Qui-Gon Jinn's, and it takes, I think it's C's. But yeah, yes, sir. Okay. So in one of my gun cabinets is those kind of lightsabers, the telescopic one, and whatnot. And then the other one, I have all my Black Series and my one Master Replica one. So yeah. So any of the pictures I've ever sent you, Tommy, with that stuff, like if I ever send anybody pictures from my Star Wars room, that's what they're in. They're in gun cabinets because that's where your lightsabers should be displayed in.
I know. I was actually putting some of the ones that I got, but then again, I don't buy the ones from Disney and everything because when I remember looking at them in the store, I remember a lot of them were breaking, the display ones in the store. And if these things were breaking as display units where all you're doing is hitting the button, I'm damn sure I'm not going to buy something like that. So So I waited until you started seeing these companies coming out like Ultra Saber and all these other ones that were making their versions of the lightsabers, and that's what I bought. Because I wanted something that I can go outside and I can beat the holy shit out of somebody with. I didn't want something that was just going to sit on the wall. So what I did is I decided not to buy any kind of fancy hooks or anything to put it up on the wall. I just went out and got one of those, what do they call that, command strips? The ones that you could buy the command strips and they come with the little piece that you can stick a broom handle on.
Yeah.
And I used those to put my lightsabers up on the wall, and they work. So if it works, and I'm paying like what, $6-7 to get those little command strip hookups.
Very nice, impressive, most impressive.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to be a little cheap. And what's going on? Super sci-fi. Gee, I wonder why Yen said that. Anybody grow up using sticks? Or the old Kenner lightsabers? Yeah. Those were like the early ones. They had the ones that were like, they were just like a flashlight. Like I remember the original ones were like a flashlight, and then they also had the ones that was almost like a wiffle ball bat kind of in the way it was designed, because it had holes through it, but more like the wiffle ball itself.
Noise.
Yeah, it made that weird whistling noise. I remember those things. I was like, geez, I never got one. I did have a Stormtrooper rifle though, which I still have somewhere in one of the crates. I got to see if I can fix it. It's missing a few parts.
I had the whistling one, and then I remember when the Kenner flashlight style ones came out. Those were badass too. And then the upgraded versions of those came with the prequels. When you got Anakin and Obi-Wans and whatnot, like those ones, one of them would vibrate and shit. And even the Count Dooku one they came out with, that style was pretty cool. Because if you remember, Darth Maul's, they had a recall on. It had something to do with the batteries. It would overheat and melt or something. And there was a safety issue too with the blades. So when they did the next one, they were shorter blades, and they put a little bit more girth on the handle. But of the ones that were the telescopic style. But yeah, there were some. I remember all of those. I never picked any of that stuff up. I did have the Darth Maul ones. I bought them off a guy on eBay, but the centerpiece that put them together was broke. And I'm like, look, dude, I'm not gonna, you sold me something broke. I think I paid like $400 for it. I'm like, no. He goes, well, just go online and get another one. I'm like, I can't. You can't find them. So I ended up sending those back. And then the guy filed a complaint against me that I sent a broke item that was more broke than it was when I got it. And I go, what are you talking about, dude? Like, this doesn't even make sense. It was broke to begin with. And if it got more broke, it wasn't for me. I didn't care. So, yeah. Back in the old dumb eBay days.
Yeah, Sentinel, I hated the Darth Maul lightsaber specifically because it didn't stay lit up and you had to hit it to get it to flash.
Yeah.
And Papa Cotton, always taking it old school. Definitely better than back in the day when we used to beat each other with sticks while spitting all over the place, making noises. Godzilla there says, I made my own lightsaber out of spray painted PVC pipe and wooden dowels. Yeah, I've seen a few guys do that, especially for like costumes and stuff like that. Now, I see CGA's question was already answered about the Funko Pops. If Disney does it count Disney if it's from Funko? Yeah, because Disney gets cut. Absolutely. I used a green baseball bat as Luke's lightsaber, Qui-Gon with my older brother, and a Darth Maul lightsaber out our outdoor deck was a spaceship. Kids nowadays don't have imagination. No, they don't. These freaking kids nowadays, everything is freaking on a console or anything else, and if it's not there, they don't know what to do.
Don't you remember using the present paper tubes as lightsabers, gentlemen? I know I sure as fuck do.
Wrapping paper tubes?
Yeah,
that's for a Darth Maul lightsaber.
Man, that's what we use.
Papa Cotton says, my mom used to whoop my ass with Hot Wheels tracks. That shit hurts.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Especially if you got the soft tracks, those soft bendable tracks, because they hit like a freaking tree branch.
Yes, they did. And stung, too. I swear that toy was made just so that the parents could whoop our asses with it.
I believe so. You know what? I think one of the worst things my dad beat me with as far as one of my toys was that damn Star Wars Stormtrooper rifle. Yo, that thing hurt like a sumbitch. He beat the dog shit out of me with it. He pinned me in between the wall and the bed and beat me with my damn Star Wars gun. I don't even remember what I did. It must have been good for him to hit me with that. I think I might have broke one of the hurricane lamps or something. Nice.
I remember those. Tommy, you'll probably remember these too. But the little wooden paddle with the ball on it. You'd have the real thin ones. My mom had one of the real thick ones. It was like an inch thick of wood. Oh, we got our asses beat with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember back in the day. If you went out anywhere, I don't care where it was. Like, you know, I used to live in Jersey back then, so my parents would take trips out to Pennsylvania to go see things. And one of the things they had out there was the Crystal Cavern out there in PA. And in their gift shop, they always sold the freaking kid paddles. So parents would always, every time they went out to these places, they'd buy, we're going to buy us a kid beating paddle. I made the mistake of laughing at my dad when he broke it over my back one day. And he brought out this thing, I swear, it was a paddle, but I swear it looked like a mini boat oar. It was so damn thick.
Where
did he get that?
Hell yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that thing stung, Papa. It stung. Yeah, me being a bad kid? No, never. Mm-hmm. You know, it would never happen. You know what? Just look at pigs. Look at the pigs. There's nothing bad here. Nothing bad here. It must be a deleted scene, right?
It's in the vault with the actual original Star Wars footage.
Lucas is like, I gotta save this for later. This is great. Still better than what they're doing at Disney.
Yeah.
Well, people are watching it though, but I think it's because they've got nothing else better to do, have they?
People watch it because they're retarded.
Yeah.
If you want my honest opinion. 90% of people that are watching this shit, they sit there and they complain about it afterwards. So why are you watching it to begin with?
Soytards. I think they don't know anything better, do they?
No.
Well, they'll do it for views, man. It's like they still haven't learned. Good, bad, and different doesn't matter. If you're bitching about it or you like it, it's still getting talked about. So if you eliminate the one side of that, of all the shit you hate, quit talking about it, it wouldn't be getting as much attention now, would it?
Exactly.
Well, it's got to get bad attention. That's what I think. It's because like the people are reviewing it, they're going to pick good points out of it, aren't they? Or else there's no point in totally ragging on it. Unless
but that's exactly what some of them are doing, Jens. They're watching it just so they can rag.
Yep.
And at that point, what you're saying doesn't even matter because you've already given Disney your money. You hated it that much. Here you go. Don't watch it. Problem solved. Problem solved. I don't watch the trailers. I don't watch the shows. I don't buy the merchandise. Guess what? I don't care what Disney's doing anymore. I don't care. Let them burn down to the ground. When they burn down and they're like getting ready to turn into ashes, that's when I'll show up and I'll roast marshmallows over it. Because I could care less about that company.
It will be Mouse Couture style, marshmallows too, with the little ears even. So there you go, folks.
There you go, Draven, right there. Pretty much masochists, people who watch this garbage. Yeah. They watch it to be angry.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be good with Ewan McGregor. I'm not going to lie. And I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, it's a different take. It's not the one that I would have ever needed to be explained to me because I never thought about this shit from watching 77, It's like, no, man, I'm good. I don't need any of this shit. But even in the prequels, when Yoda tells him he's going to give him training, he's going to go with, he's going to have to learn how to talk to Qui-Gon, his old master. So, like, from that era on, okay, that's kind of a cool thing to see that, he's got to do that. But when we get to the series, he's not even connected to the Force. It's like, all right. So, again, none of this shit's needed. They're making more stuff up, and people like to bitch. That's the biggest problem. They don't got anything else to do but bitch about it. I had hope. I usually will give anything 3 episodes. By the time we got the 3rd episode, even I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, dude, no, I'm done. Simply put, if you burned me and I finally got my hands on you 10 years later, a little bit of fire ain't going to stop me from getting you. And done. You know,
retconning the original fucking trilogy.
Yep.
And then they fail to understand why people are getting agitated.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're a racist.
If we can mind read your thoughts by, now I can just take your thoughts. I don't think any of these movies would be the same movie with that technique being now canon, right? Like, no. Sorry. They would have all known about Palpatine, and that would have been it. And before Palpatine could have even been Palpatine, he would have been killed because his master would have known he was going to betray him and kill him, for fuck's sake. Yeah. So, ta-da!
But somehow Palpatine has returned.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, so many people are making a big deal out of this. Now, look, I'm an old school Star Wars fan. They cannot take the stuff we talk about and the stuff we love away from us and the memory of it, right? But at the same time, yeah, you can be irritated, but like, it doesn't ruin my life. I don't care. I didn't build my channel on Star Wars. I really don't care about anything. What I would have loved, a Vader movie where Vader's hunting down the last of the Jedi, along with whatever, if you want to add the Inquisitors, because I kind of remember them from what I've seen of the Clone War cartoons, and or bounty hunters, man. That's what I'd been waiting on. And again, Rogue One was a Star Wars tale. To me, Obi-Wan is a Star Wars tale. None of this crap matters, because at the end of the day, Kylo Ren killed all of the students any damn way, right? Because of what Disney has done. So you still end up with the same crap. So do as I do. I just like what we had before. You give me, the original series, the prequels, sure, no problem. I'm happy. I'll gladly talk all day about it. All I want is lightsaber, yo.
I want to hit this one real quick. So I know Angela's dreaming says, Rob, read the book, read the EU. And Time Prophet says, I don't read any EU stuff. It ain't in the original trilogy. I don't want to know. Well, guess what? I hate to tell you this, Time Prophet, but there's a whole bunch of things in the original trilogy towards the end that George had actually got inspiration for some of the people that were writing in the novelizations. And especially when you get into the prequels and stuff like that. Like a lot of that stuff he was picking up from other people. And you got to remember, a lot of the stuff that George originally wrote got tossed out by the people he was working with. So there was a whole bunch of stuff that is a lot different than what we actually wound up getting in the end. So never discount novels. George himself has actually even said, at the point that he reads one of those EU novels and he includes that character into his movies, it is now considered canon. So, I mean, there's that. I mean, you could do with that as you will. But, yeah, I would not discount all the EU stuff because there's quite a bit of it that George had actually picked from. But I want to roll back around the Megatron. Believe it or not, I still got 2 more clips for him.
Holy crap. Well, remember, that was what kept Star Wars alive, man.
No, absolutely. If it wasn't for the EU, including all the Marvel comic books, it would have died way before he even had a chance to put out the prequels. Matter of fact, the prequels might not have ever happened. And I believe at one point, George has even give credit to the fans and those writers for keeping Star Wars alive all that time.
So, I mean, yeah, and I'm sorry, man. I know it's your show, but I just wanted to make sure we brought that up because respect, man, for Lucas, not Disney.
Absolutely. Old Lucas, let's say that.
Yes.
All right, guys. Here's the next clip with Megatron.
And of course, let's talk about the Transformers movie from 1986, where Megatron winds up being destroyed and rebuilt by Unicron into Galvatron. Now, the weird thing about this is on the back of the toy box for Galvatron, it actually has him listed as a city commander, and it never really mentions him as being Megatron or being the same person. They almost make him out to be a separate entity. But the figure was supposed to be created for the movie which was created first, so it's kind of a catch-22 on which one you follow, but since the movie was supposed to be first and established the characters, you probably should refer to that first, so Megatron becomes Galvatron. Now, it is also to be noted that they actually said that some of these stories may take place in a different universe. So you could look at it this way, as in this particular universe of the movie, Megatron dies and becomes Galvatron, and maybe another one, Galvatron and Megatron are two separate entities. The Sunbow cartoon, of course, following on what they did for the movie, displayed Galvatron as formerly being Megatron. Now, in the pages of Marvel Comics, they did the same thing, but they also showed Galvatron and Megatron coexisting in the same frame of time. Galvatron having come from a distant future that was not necessarily that Megatron's future, but came to it in order to try to change things in the past. Now, when IDW acquired the rights to print the Transformers in comics after Dreamwave had closed shop, they actually presented Galvatron and Megatron as two completely separate identities and individuals. They even created an origin story for Megatron. What I enjoyed about the origin story for Megatron in the IDW comics was they actually paid some homage to what had come before in the Sunbow cartoons when they mentioned how the Quintessons had created a warrior race of combatants that fought in gladiatorial arenas, which would give rise to the IDW version of Megatron starting as a gladiatorial combatant.
Yeah, man. So I got one more that I want to get through real quick, and then we can go back to open discussions because we are almost an hour and 20 minutes in, and I know I want to end it right around the 2-hour mark because I know ETEP is going on tonight, so I want to give him room to actually get started. So let me play this last one, and then we can get back into the open discussions.
And of course, following the War and Fall of Cybertron games, toys were made through the Generations toy lines, leading all the way up to IDW's Combiner Wars series. And this spawned, of course, Combiner Wars series figures because at that point, Hasbro had pretty much partnered with IDW to set down characters and stories and flesh out what the new looks for the characters would be, and Hasbro created the toy lines to match it.
Even if you destroy me, Megatron, others will rise to defeat your tyranny. Then I'll just have to destroy you all!
The Combiner Wars Megatron was extremely well done, with enough of the nods to the old G1 version so that you could easily recognize Megatron if you were just a G1 fan, which leads all the way up to the newer series, Siege War for Cybertron trilogy of figures, where once again we see Megatron in that tank form. This figure is incredible as well. Now, while nowhere near as big as the Combiner Wars figure, this figure has a lot more detail to it and is even more reminiscent of the G1 aesthetics than the Combiner Wars one was.
No! Such heroic nonsense. I am the Dominator. I am the Destroyer. I am Megatron! Will anyone else attempt to fill your shoes? Megatron, stop. I'll stop when all of you are dead. No. This ends now. This ends when I say it ends. Decepticons, Megatron has returned! You are the cause. I am the solution. You deserve no less than the oblivion I will bring to you. Goodbye.
Megatron, wait.
I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime. This was almost too easy.
Transformers! More than meets the eye. The Transformers!
Yeah, man. So what's going on? I see we got a few more people that actually popped in the chat. I know Frankie's getting out of here. Be well, Frankie. Thank you for stopping in. Jesus has stopped into the chat. Praise be. Good to see Jesus in the house. And Satan is on my other shoulder. What's going on, buddy? It's good to see you as well. God is here as well. The Lord has spoken. And holy bejesus, we got the guinea pig world champion in the house. Holy good God, what's going on in this place? This is a madhouse.
Yeah, Buddha.
And a dog saying hello.
What's going on, Frank?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
With the fire thing is in his face.
I'm the game.
I saw the movie, man. I remember seeing that in theaters. And I was just talking with my middle brother the other day about this. Because he was, he's quite a bit younger. So, when Optimus dies, spoilers, I guess, if you didn't know.
Isn't it a spoiler at this point? We're talking about something from 1986.
I know, but I don't want to get you in any more trouble than you get yourself in. So I'm just covering my boudoir. But I was telling him, I don't know if you remember this, but when we went and saw the movie, I was like, you cried when Optimus Prime died, and he was kind of looking at me. He had to think about it because, I'm 40. I'll be 47. So, he's in his late 30s now. So it's like, yeah, it was good times. He's catching up. But I just had brought it up because it was one of those things that had popped in. Oddly enough, after you and I had done some of these streams, and we're always talking about the things we love, it sparked just some of those memories that are there that you don't normally think of. So, thank you, Tommy.
No, always. And that wasn't the only one, too. I mean, I know G.I. Joe. I mean, granted, G.I. Joe never made it to the movie theaters because of the very bad reception of not only the Transformers, but also My Little Pony, the movie. Both were so illy received in the movie theaters that Hasbro decided, well, G.I. Joe, the movie, is going to go direct to the video.
Yeah.
So, but when those kids got the first videos of Duke dying, there was a whole bunch more angry letters being sent at Hasbro for killing off another character from one of their toy lines. So Optimus Prime wasn't the only one. They didn't learn from that mistake, apparently. And that was mostly due to the executives at Hasbro that say, hey, you know what, that was the 84 line, it held over to 85, but we're 86 now. We want to push the new toy line. Let's get rid of all the old characters by killing them off in a movie. We can't do it in the show, so let's kill them in a movie. And that was the whole idea behind it, why they killed off so many characters. And originally, the idea was even the characters that you didn't see on screen, if they were part of the 84 line, they were dead.
Yeah. They got ate by
some of the, even some of the 85 line were supposed to be dead as well. They insinuated that Shockwave was supposed to have died.
Because wasn't it Ultra Magnus? It was Optimus, but he was all white when you put him in it.
Yes, because he was the original. Well, the original toys that came over from Japan, because they were all part of that original Diaclone series. The original Optimus Prime was called Battle Convoy, and the second version was Battle Convoy Max, or it was another version of Battle Convoy, and that was what was the Ultra Magnus figure. So basically, it was supposed to be an upgraded version of the original Battle Convoy Optimus Prime figure. That's all it was.
See, that makes more sense now, though. Now that you're saying that, and I mean, I did not know this ahead of time. So yeah, that clicks. I was like, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of those figures that actually got ported over. I see Alec Baldwin is spinning the chambers in the chat. Good to see you, Alec Baldwin. Channel 66 is here as well. What's going on, Channel 66? I hope you are doing well. We are living in the Matrix. Yeah, G.I. Joe will go directly to bargain bin. Are some of the accounts in here made up? No, that would never happen. Not on this channel. It's nice to see somebody taking a guinea pig approach, though. It's good to see you all. Thank you so much for coming, guys. Thank you so much for sharing this out. And please continue to smash away at that like button. Let YouTube know that we are here and we are not going anywhere. We're going to keep on nibbling. But, yeah, I mean, like, go and get back to that. Yeah, you figured they would have learned from their mistake with the Transformers movie when they did G.I. Joe that they wouldn't have killed Duke. But they did anyway. So they got a bunch of angry letters. So when they decided it didn't do very well in the initial video sales, so they were going to bring it to TV. So what they did is that's when they wound up doing the re-edit version, where Duke is no longer dead. He's just in a coma.
Yeah. And then remember when they launched the stupid movies with, what is his name, Channing Tatum? Of course, by the second movie, they killed him again. So... Duke just can't win, yo. He might as well just stay a mayonnaise.
Well, they kill him off, don't they, really? Because they want the G.I. Joe to be a group, not the main man, where he sort of like becomes sort of G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to get rid of it.
As a kid watching the cartoons, I never thought that it was just the Duke show. Like, yeah, it's all the characters together that make it up, the whole team unit, no matter what Joe you have.
Yeah.
Chat is killing me. CJH, I know Darren, like my father before me, always mentions that the Lego Optimus Prime. I am not a big Lego fan. I never have been, and I never will be. So more than likely, I will never get that. Just like I'm not going to get. They have an automatically transforming Optimus Prime now. It's not the really good one that everybody's been talking about before. This is a cheaper version. It almost looks like a kid's version. Like it just looks so goofy. Even then,
I'm a Lego lover. I'm a Lego lover for the both of us. So if I get it, you'll be the first one. You'll get the exclusive. How about that?
Awesome. See, there you go. And you know what? I don't really take any like swipes at anybody that likes it. It's not for me. It's just not my sort of thing. I mean, I used to have them when I was a kid, and I grew out of them. I mean, I used to have Lincoln Logs when I was a kid too. I don't play with them anymore. I love the shit out of the Lincoln Logs, but I'm not playing with them anymore.
Oh, those guinea pigs would like them too, though. They're like, ooh.
Oh, they would eat them up. What's going on, Small Time Republic, and what's going on, Happy Dinosaur? Hope you were doing dynamite, buddy. They're still going on about somebody farting in the chat. Who did it? I want to know who did it right now.
Anybody ever trying to take your manhood?
Yeah, some of them are. Like I have somebody had sent me. It was for Christmas. They had sent me a Lego Yoda figure, like one of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was looking it up, and it was like $150 to maybe even up to $300 for that thing online. I was like, really? I need to sell that damn thing.
Yeah, in store when they launched it, it was like it was a good $120. Was
it when it launched?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
No, I understand there was like two different versions of that Yoda one.
Oh, I'm sure, because they've had R2-D2 before as well. They did it before and they did it again. Well, they also did the Mandalorian one too. So like they have Yoda and then the little Mando baby as well.
I would bank on anything, and I don't care if this is the older toys, Legos, whatever it is. But I bet you anybody has the original Slave One written on that damn packaging, that thing is probably worth freaking big money now, considering that they changed out that name.
Yep. I would have killed myself, or wanted to anyway, because if I would have gotten it, I would have opened it and built the thing, but I never was able to find it because it was one, you either had to have a Lego store or Toys R Us used to have it. But, back then I didn't have the money to buy one, because we didn't have to worry about that back then. And then I think they did an edition just before they changed the name, and I wasn't able to have the money to get it then either. And then they changed the name, and I'm like, well, I don't care if it's the exact same thing. I mean, if I buy it and it's the Disney version, I will buy it from a third-hand shop. I will not pay money for it to go to Disney.
I'll tell you what, here's the way around if you want to get anything that's Star Wars and you don't want to have to pay Disney a dime. Look for those third-party companies. Like, granted, most of them are, unfortunately, they're out of China. But if you wanted to get around not paying Disney a dime, that would be the way to do it.
That too. I mean, I'll buy second-hand, third-hand shops too, because we've got those here in the States. So, or, a lot of times, sometimes you can find stuff. I mean, I've had it no different than what you're talking about with buying, sets of Transformer parts and whatnot. Luckily I've been able to go, and there's a couple different brick shops where you can get the actual, once you got the book with the instruction books have the part that you might be missing. So a lot of times you can just buy the part that you need. But I would not, even if you had the directions, I could not imagine piece by piece, starting from nothing, trying to build like the Slave One or like the Batmobiles that I have, or the 66 playset that I have for, the Batman, because you know how big of a Batman crazy fan I am. So, it's just, but I mean, I'm nuts about all the stuff I love. I mean, half my room, come on, half of it's wrestling, to Batman, to Joker, to DC, to Marvel, but it's all older stuff. The Highlander, the Highlander sword signed by Adrian Paul. I mean, to the TV guide I still have to mail you, that's looking at me at the face, flipping me off, saying, "Why am I not with Tommy?" So yeah.
You see this? CGH, the original Lego Cloud City is $7,068 right currently.
When they did that big ship of Vaders, the Superstar Destroyer, that was an exclusive I saw in Indianapolis at the shop, and that was nice looking. But yeah, even the knockoff version of that is like $300 on like Wish.com, $300 to $400.
Yeah, you know what? I will agree with you to an extent, Lasso, and I'm sure Adam will back this up. Lego was a fairly cheap builder set type of toy thing at the time. When it first came out, it was not very expensive. Now, the prices for it have gone up, and especially once they started getting all these people that were coming in with their small companies and they were creating competition, like Mego Blocks and what were some of the other ones?
Mega Blocks. You had, shit. Trying to, I thought I had another one, but dude, yeah, we had Lego and Duplo for like the little kids, where we had like Playmate toys. They had the Duplo blocks. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, okay, I guess it really depends on the set. Like, you can still buy at least you could pre-pandemic at Target. You can still find some decent sets for younger kids to play with, because that's why we had them. As kids, they weren't expensive, because if they would have been, we wouldn't have had them. We were freaking poor. And then turning into an adult, like the '89 Batmobile and the Batwing, like I've got those. And yeah, a couple $100 is kind of expensive, but to me, I don't mind justifying that, because again, look at what we were talking about. I know you're not spending that comic books now, but come on, Tommy, we've always spent money on shit we love.
No, absolutely. Well, you know what? I've spent quite a bit, guys. Unfortunately, I mean, that's one of the things that are different about the independent creators. You're not going to get it in the comic book store prices. So obviously, if you go to a comic book store and buy a comic book there, you're getting the cheap product that you're getting from these cheap companies. First off, they're able to print the shit a lot cheaper. So the independent guys got to spend a little bit more. So technically, I probably spend more on comic books now. Actually, I would say easily, legitimately, I spend more on comic books now than I ever have in the past.
Right.
So,
but
I'm willing to spend, like you're saying, though, you're saying, I'm willing to spend that money because I know I'm getting a good product. That's the difference.
compared to when we were kids, even reading comic. But I mean, granted, you got the comics that you like, you know, wanted to follow good stories, you know, and generally we always bought ones we liked, right? I don't really remember collecting books just because I thought it'd be worth money. It was stuff that I liked, you know. But yeah, that's just it. I'll spend the money if it's something like, again, the Black Series lightsaber I bought, you know. I wanted Count Dooku. I only spent like, I don't know, 180, 185, I think is what I got it for. Palpatine's came out and it's upwards towards 200. I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend that much money on, you know, something I don't really. Qui-Gon Jinn would be the one that would get. That'd be the one I'd spend some serious coinage on. But that's it. But I mean, I stopped buying because I have a whole display of Hot Wheel cars that came out, and then once all this garbage with Disney started, I just quit buying the products because they were making more and more products, but it was just different art basically in the same cars for the Star Wars cars. But I've got the original blue runs when they first came out. The back cards were blue for all the Disney Star Wars stuff. But I mean, I did pick some up, but. Yeah, by the time we were through those movies and just the hate they had for us, I refused, man. I'm not going to pay money to somebody that hates me. So, but that was an exception for me, man. It was the lightsaber.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why, like I said, that when I started collecting the lightsabers, I was going to all these companies that were actually making it on their own. They were making sabers that looked very reminiscent to the ones you might have seen in the movies. But they weren't exactly, and they couldn't do that on purpose because then they would probably get sued for copyright infringement of some sort from Disney. But these companies have made a lot of these different sabers, and they made them in a way that they so much resemble the ones that were used in those movies. Unless you're nitpicking about minor details or smaller fine details, it really shouldn't bother the average collector. You know, 9 times out of 10, these things are amazing. The way that they're made, the durability for those things. I actually had one where when I was up cleaning my father's house, I told the missus to take the batteries out of my lightsaber. She never did, so one of them blew up in there. The saber still works. I just got to re-clean off all the contacts again, but I got it to light up a couple times. But yeah, those things are actually built to last. Now, I would dare anybody to tell me that they would have one of the Black Series from Disney or whatever. Tell me that one of those sabers, if the batteries blew up and if that thing would ever work again. I doubt it very highly.
Oh, the Black Series ones were just like the Master Replicas when it comes to the soundboards and shit that the batteries go in. Like they're identical. You've got you know, it doesn't just, you don't just put a couple batteries in it. It's got that little box. You got to put the batteries in and stuff in there. So yeah, no, dude, they definitely are not built for what like Ultra Saber does or any of those kind of, yeah, not at all. And I knew that when I bought them, like they were there for display pieces. But then again, you know, the older I get, you know, it'll go to like my granddaughter. You know, and like whatever they choose to do with it at that point, come on, Tommy. You know, I don't give a shit. I'll already be dead. So, I got what I wanted out of them. You know, I guess is the best way to put it. I bought them because I like them. And when the lights go out, I'm sorry if you ever watched Big Bang Theory and there was that whole episode with glow sticks and shit. And they bust out a lightsaber. That ain't no joke. I can light up my entire house with every lightsaber. One lightsaber per room. If there's power outages for long periods of time, I don't got to worry about lights.
I've seen a few people also mention some of the Legos real quick before you go, Jens. Angelos was talking about he had the Lego Pod Racer set and the Sith Infiltrator set. And CJ was saying at this point, Lego is no longer for kids, it's made for adults with those prices and the amount of pieces. Yeah, I would agree. Ty Parappa is asking if wrestling is wasted. Well, I'm sure it is to a degree to some people. Papa Cotton says the mouse loves the suit, people. They absolutely do. Screw the mouse. And the last thing before you go, Jens, and you want to talk about whatever you want to talk about, CJ says, do you have any projects on Indiegogo, Tom? Not yet. I'm working on stuff, CJ, but I am not going to put it up until it is damn near completed or completed already. Because I'm not going to make people who sit there and fund a project that is not going to be prepared for a year, 6 months, or whatever. I'm going to finish the whole damn thing first, then I'm going to put it up. Go ahead, Jens.
Yeah, I was saying on the Big Bang Theory, the painted luminous paint on the floor.
That's
and
right.
So which is a good idea. So then they could see the exits and that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, they light up the rooms really nice. And again, it's like you say, Tommy. Hey, if I like it and you don't notice, we're still friends. It's okay, people. Like it doesn't ruin anything. It really doesn't. Unless you're.
Well, you know what? I bust Jens balls all the time about the Disney stuff. I mean, he watches Moon Knight and he watches a few of the other things, and I bust his balls about it constantly.
Yeah. I watch.
I mean, it's not like I hate the guy. I hate the company though. I mean, Jens knows exactly how I feel about this company and where I'm coming from, and he understands where I'm coming from completely too. I mean, that is the difference between somebody could look at it objectively and say, okay, I see your point, and you do have a good valid point, but I'm still kind of enjoying this, so I still want to watch it, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do, great, do it. Just don't be like the other hypocrites who sit there and say, oh, well, I don't support this company, they're shit, and I'm going to watch everything they do and hate talk about it the entire time. You know what? At a certain point, if you start watching a show and you don't like it, you turn it the hell off and say, I'm not watching that anymore. I've done that with a few shows. I can't even remember what they were. They were so bad, I forgot what they were. But I started watching them, and I was like, this is just garbage, and I turned it off. And somebody had actually recommended I watch it, and I called them up and I said, "What the hell are you doing recommending this kind of trash to me?" Like it's like my friend who recommended I watch Rogue One and stuff like that. I hated Rogue One, and he sat there and bitched to me, "Oh, you're just being hateful and spiteful." I said, "Well, maybe to a degree, but I really couldn't stand the show. You should watch it again." I said, "Why? I don't like torturing myself, but you know what? I will objectively watch it again." And after I objectively watched it a second time, because I was ignoring some of it the first time I watched it, I've seen even more flaws, and I hated it even more. And I said, well, that one backfired on you, because now I hate that movie even more than I did originally.
Nice. See, I always lead with it was called A Star Wars Tale, so I don't give a shit. It's a tale, Same with Solo. But yeah, dude, I mean, the only part I liked about that was seeing the OG stormtroopers again. Like that was nice. I mean, and not in a way that we hadn't seen them before. Because we've seen Star Wars, God, billions of times easily. Especially since we're a bit older. So, I know we wore out VCR tapes back in the day, man. Once we were able to get them on VHS, that is.
You can watch Orville on Disney Plus. I didn't think it was on Disney Plus. I thought that was only available on Hulu.
Yeah,
or is it different over across the pond?
It could be, but in the U.S., it's not on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Because I know Mr. Peabody. When I go to Australia, like I have TV there with my shit hooked up to it, so like my TV there has my stuff on it, and the Disney Plus I pay for in the States is different than the Disney Plus in Australia that they get. He gets most of the same stuff, but he gets added stuff that we don't. It's really weird.
Oh, yeah. You know, Last of Truth, you are absolutely right, and I've actually talked about that in the past. Pirating adds to the numbers. A lot of people think pirating is getting away with not supporting Disney, but that's not true. Right? Because originally, that signal that they're pirating out to everybody, guess what? It's coming from somebody who's actually paying for the service. Somewhere down the line, somebody is paying for that service.
Oh, yeah. Well, and think about the cam videos. And that guy had to pay for the ticket to cam it, unless it's like the old school days where it was the projectionist himself that was cam video on it.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. The one that like doesn't work there no more.
Yeah. I love how you were the one that started giggling right away. Yeah. So I was like, leave it to the Brit to totally know where I'm going.
Yeah. No, it was a thing though, because the best thing about being the projectionist is you had an empty theatre, so you wouldn't have rattling crisp packets around, so they'd get the best copies going.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and in them days, wasn't it? you could earn a couple of thousands of pounds if you got a copy of whatever ET or Star Wars or Jaws and that. Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Nelson, I seen Nelson, the gentleman popped in for a second, and be well, buddy. I know you usually do watch on replays. You don't always have a chance to watch it live. And I know everybody's talking about the Orville and everything, and there are a lot of people are talking about the boys are pretty good again, and some people are actually like cringing over the boys, especially the way they opened the show up.
I enjoyed it. It was all right. Like they only gave us 3 episodes of the boys. I enjoyed Stranger Things though. I guess it really just depends on, I got so many different people of things that I like and maybe stuff they might not be into, and then vice versa. But it just works. But I've enjoyed Stranger Things. Feels completely different from anything you've ever seen. It feels more like season 1, but then again, it feels like season 1 times 10 with what's going on there. And the second part is July we get, so we only got a couple more weeks to wait. The boys, I saw almost all 3 episodes. I enjoyed the animated version stuff we got prior to the season starting, but I was okay with it. But I mean, if you're not a fan of the boys, you're not going to like anything, right? Like it's up that series. Right. Yeah, because it's all shot basically the same way. So yeah.
Well, I didn't mind the first 2 seasons of the boys, so I didn't watch any of season 3 yet, and it's the same thing with Orville. I haven't even started watching it because I was actually, at the time when it dropped, I was more interested in watching Pistols. So, is it Pistols or Pistol? I think it's Pistol, but it's about the Sex Pistols on Hulu. So they have a short series on that, and I was more interested in seeing that because that really resonates with me a lot more than the Orville or the boys or any of the other things, because that's the type of music I grew up loving, like all like punk rock, hard rock, heavy metal, freaking like the early like gangster rap and stuff like that. That was all the stuff that I grew up on. That's the stuff I love, and punk rock was one of those early influences in music for me. So when I seen that was coming out, I automatically went in that direction first. So eventually I will get around to watching some of the Orville, watching the boys, but that's going to be when I have time.
Well, the boys just launched Friday. So, I mean, they literally just released it Friday. So, yeah, you're not far behind on that. But, yeah, when you get the time, obviously, man, obviously. But, yeah, it was fine. I think this goes to everything we've been talking about, though. Sometimes people just like to bitch. They don't know better. That's all they know how to do is just watch and bitch. And even if it was the most perfect whatever, they'd still fucking find something to bitch and nag about.
Always.
And this goes for you two, boys and girls. I've said this. I was told this when I started, and if you're not having fun, you shouldn't be on here. I'm sorry. If what you're doing isn't bringing you joy, then you shouldn't be on YouTube. And if all you do is, if you're that bitter that's your life and that's how you feel, man, I don't want to watch it. So I'm definitely not subscribing. Just saying.
I know eventually I think I want to get around to watching the Orville before I'm going to even attempt to watch the boys again. Because I mean, I don't mind the boys. I thought it was pretty good, but I wouldn't say it's like, I'm like dying to see more of it. So,
right.
You know what, Castaway? Just for you, you've been begging for it.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I've seen it. He was begging for it.
Hell yeah.
Unless it rakes into big bucks, yeah, right. That's kind of weird. I don't know why they didn't ask him. He's the only one that really should matter at this point.
Yep. Now, Transformer-wise, on Netflix, there was a movie or a series they did I was watching where Megatron had the Optimus Prime's leadership thing around him and shit. And I was starting to watch it and it ended up having like some of the Beast Wars in it, I think, as well. Kind of a mix. I don't know if you'd seen that. It's
The Netflix series was part of the Siege. It started with Siege. And it's part of the War for Cybertron trilogy. So basically, Hasbro had already come up with a line called the War for Cybertron trilogy of figures, and started with the Siege line. It went to the Earthrise line, and then eventually went to the Kingdom line. So the one you're watching is Kingdom, and that's the one that actually mixes the old school G1 guys with some of the Beast Wars.
Yeah.
So they do a bit.
Out of that.
It's not bad, but I would say out of the three that's on Netflix, that series is actually the weakest.
Am I watching it in the right order?
You actually would need to watch Siege,
okay,
Earthrise, and then Kingdom last.
Okay, I only watched a couple because back when I was sick, I just started kind of watching it. I was really kind of confused, but that's the first time I've seen anything new Transformer animated wise, and I was enjoying it. And since, of course, you're talking about it, I was like, man, I got to ask Tommy since we're here because, yeah, I want to check all that out.
Yeah, I did talks about that early on when they first announced that series and when the very first episode came out for Siege. And I was all over talking about that. And I seen there was actually a few other YouTubers, bigger guys. I'm talking, you know, like, hey there, hi there, ho there type of people, you know, like that. And, you know, yellow things to get flushed down the toilets. It was those type of people sitting there talking about, oh, this is woke trash because they have female Transformers, they're gender bending. I mean, obviously, these people have never watched Transformers as a kid because the old Sunbow cartoon season 2 actually introduced female Transformers. It's been around forever. And all the characters that wound up being in that Netflix series, they were already in the Sunbow cartoons. So, miss me with that bullshit? Talk to the hand because the face ain't listening.
Yep. Well, how bad is it that there's so many damn versions of wokeism out there and what people think are woke? As soon as you put a female in it, that's the first words out of their mouth. I'm like, wait a minute. What has the character? You know, is she a Susan here? You know, was a Mary Sue? Was she just given her powers because she has a vagina with a rainbow in it? You know, tuna lightning, baby. Look out for them tuna bolts. But
she's shooting rainbows out of that thing. It's beautiful.
I'm telling you, they act like Red Sonja is now considered woke because it's a female-led movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, or any of the females, you know, Wonder Woman from the, you know, the 60s. Get the F out of here. Charlie's Angels, the original.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't think they're woke. They're just soy. But it's for women. I've been telling people this. It's like if you're watching that stuff as a dude, then you're gonna get like loads of crappy sort of like female-led shite. But
oh, dude, we grew up on Charlie's Angels, though. You know?
I didn't.
Well, no, you're British.
No, we had it. We had all the American stuff.
Yeah, I know you did, but you also had other shows that, you know, Man About the House. You had all kinds of
right.
shit that was just as good.
I tell you what American stuff we got. We got Charlie's Angels, which I never watched. Wonder Woman, which I never watched. The Incredible Hulk, which I used to watch. And Starsky and Hutch, which I used to watch. And like there was a few other things, but
well, you used to watch stuff like what the problem with tea and crumpets and is the tea hot, stuff like that, right?
Yeah. How many sugars do you take, darling? Was like a top
But what?
Oh, yeah. Don't worry, Jens. I've got a couple good friends that are British as well, my friend. So it's he's Jez Oldfield from Digital Pollution. He is. We have sat and watched American TV and British TV and just had awesome conversations over this stuff, man, over the years. So
well, I mean, you know what? If British TV was all bad, like some people think, then why the hell are there so many people that are fans of Doctor
Who? Yeah. Well, it was real good storyline for its time, Doctor Who. Well, it was just really sort of like cheesy sort of costume and designs and that. And
you never drink tea. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm not trying to be a dick, but that one got me because even I read that was losing it. I'm like, oh.
You're not really from across the pond, Tom Prophet. If you're not drinking tea, then what are you?
Then you better be at least drinking Guinness.
And you drink tea with milk in. You don't do what you Americans do. You just put loads of sugar in it and then let it go cold.
Do you know how I drink my tea, Jens? I drink it with absolutely nothing in it. No milk, no sugar, no nothing. Just drink it plain.
Yep, black tea.
Well, you're not getting the right tea bag. You're not British tea bags. British tea bag. You can drink it without any milk in, because I've done it before when I had no milk. But you drink about half of it, and then the other half will make you puke. Like, oh.
I don't want Jens tea bag in my tea, so I'm good.
Well, this is the thing. You Americans, that's what you got to do. You got to proper tea bag your tea bag in your drink and get it moshed up. You don't just pop it in and pop it out.
No, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, proper tea bag. Yep.
Yeah. And you got to get milk in. That's why probably you Americans don't like drinking tea, because you're not having no milk in it. I don't like tea if it ain't got any milk in. Or cream.
I don't know what's going on here, but it's like a bunch of slack jaw faggots in this place talking about dunking things in your tea bag and things. It's disgusting, Eds. I tell you what you need. You need some jaw. That stuff will make you a sexual tyrannosaurus. Stop screwing around, you damn limey.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from. The British tea bag. It all comes from India. Oh!
No, it don't. The tea leaves come from India. The tea bag was British, because they used to have the tea in just normal sort of like pots where you'd have to like filter it out like coffee.
Yep.
But we invented the tea bag.
Light cream. Oh, that sounds interesting, Lasso. You dirty, dirty girl.
Yeah.
What's going on, Bruce? Horrible. I'm a horrible person. Guys, we really do have to start wrapping this up and winding it down, because ETEP's going to be going on soon.
Oh, ETEP's been going for an hour if you are a Kazulian, but yes.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about his main show. His main show is actually supposed to be starting show, and I always give him leeway for his main show every single week. You know,
you're a good man.
I'm a good pig. What do you got going on here now? I have not been known for my teabagging. Oh no. Just got home. I have to scrub dye himself. Whoa, what's going on here? You still mod for John Talks? I don't know. I don't know if I still have a wrench there or not. But I don't remember the last time John has actually gone live. I mean, he does it like every once in a blue moon now. It's not like an everyday thing. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to start winding it down. We're going to give everybody outros here. So let's get going with that.
You know me, but I don't remember smelling you before. Who are you and where do you come from?
I don't know. I'm comatose. I don't remember who I am or where I come from. No, I am a super fan, Adam Shawhan, deemed by Jeff Hicks from Mortal Class Bullshitters. I will be here every Monday, as always. Monday night with ETEP and the place to be reviews in the chat. Tuesday, I think I'm on the panel again with Tony Tone Deaf and the Clown World Review for the Monday night retrospective.
Oh, I think he said that he's going to actually postpone that for a week because he's having problems with one of his furry friends.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to be optimistic that everything will be okay, and you know. But
just in case, there may be a chance that it may not happen. We'll keep everybody updated.
Exactly, and if not, it'll be the following Tuesday. But yes, you can find me every Tuesday there. Wednesday, I will be on Digital Pollution along with Rogue Entertainment for Etep Wakulian show, and then usually it just depends who else is streaming, because basically anywhere these guys are, I am at in the chat. Every now and then I try to drop in Jens's to say hello, and then every Friday on the men's room, catch me Thursday nights on World Class Bullshitters in the chat. But again, every Friday night you will see me on the men's room, and we'll have something else coming up here shortly that eventually I'm going to hijack you on, Tommy, if there's a weekend I can steal you, because I want to do something that we'll talk off air that a couple of the guys know about. But there will be another channel launching in between everybody else's, so be on the lookout for that.
You know me. I'm always down to have a little bit of fun when I can. So
you're down to clown. We know you.
Clown.
What? Yeah.
Guys, make sure you check them out. Make sure you check out every other person's channels that are coming up, especially what ETIP is coming up. Make sure you give them the hashtag guinea pig rave to let ETIP know that we're thinking about him as he's getting ready to run his Monday show. Be sure to stop by the men's room and check out Adam and all his friends over there. I try to stop by every chance that I do have the time. And usually they get confused when I pop up because everybody always sees that long-ass name like Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. But, guys, always make sure to subscribe to people, to back people, because if we don't do it, nobody else is going to help support us, because YouTube is going to push all content creators, especially smaller ones, down because they want to keep us in our place. We are the ones who got to actually pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and show these other sons of bitches that we can actually be just as good as them, maybe even better. Yeah, thank you, Lasso. Lasso's always dropping damn links in there for me. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. So now we're going to move over to our good buddy, Yen.
He don't know talking good like me and you. So his vocabularistics is limited.
Yeah, it's limited.
I need that. Hold on, Jens. I need that for Mr. Tommy Gunn. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, but I released a video. I cheated though because I just copied Alex, who, the info sort of person that I just posted that really with interview with Mike Tyson and that, where it's on his website and that, but just in case you're having trouble getting that website, I thought I'd post it. And I've got a live stream tomorrow, which I'll probably be talking about how the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is so terrible that kids that was torture for that sort of shit are now regretting it. They're regretting going to Disney, having their sort of faces cut off just so Ewan McGregor can be a pussy. But they was happy with Moon Knight though, which swings and roundabouts. And then Wednesday, I've got me Bond stream, which is the Pierce Brosnan, where I do review and spoilers on Die Another Day with Halle Berry, where spoilers, he shags her.
No way.
He shags a few women in Die Another Day.
My God, that sounds so toxic, yes.
Yeah, well, Bond is, isn't he? Bond is. That's why they had to kill him off. But he is returning. Hopefully, he's going to return real masculine, like the 80s, like Roger Moore. Even though Roger Moore wasn't all that masculine when it came to the fighting bits, because he used most of his gadgets and his sort of brain. But when it came to shagging, I think I haven't added the figures up, but I'm sure Roger Moore, James Bond, has shagged the most birds in percentage I'm sure. But he's
Guys,
had like
guys, make sure to check out Jens. Make sure to check out his reviews on Bond. This guy loves Bond. He's always talking about Bond. He is waving the Bond flag for good Bond. I was personally never a big James Bond fan. I know my father liked it. A lot of my friends liked it. I was just never big into it. It's the spy movie things. I mean, I kind of liked Inspector Gadget, but that was probably about as far as it went.
Yeah,
well, into it.
Yeah, Inspector Gadget was a bit like James Bond, apart from he was fully gadgetized, where Bond just used it as a car and a watch that are gadgetized. A few other things, but it's usually the car and the watch. You know, have like a car that like has got missiles in, or a watch that's got a laser.
Well, the one thing I always remember from that was the Aston Martin and the oh God, what was that? Was that God? I keep forgetting. Was that like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini? The white one that turned into a damn submarine.
Oh yeah, the Lotus.
Lotus, that's it. The Lotus. That's the one those are the two cars I always remember, and I actually had the little, I don't remember if they were by Corgi or if they were by one of the other companies, but I had the little Matchbox style cars.
Yeah.
Aston Martin was cool too because it had the button on the side, and when you hit that button, there was a little tiny seated red figure that would pop out of the roof. The roof would open and throw it out.
Yeah. I remember having that, and I've got because I bought it, but I don't think it's a Matchbox, but it's like a Matchbox size car of the Lotus, where it's in like a little box with a thing.
Oh, look at that! Time Prophet says he touched the James Bond Lotus at a show in Mammoth.
Hey, yeah, because I think they had a few Lotuses and that, and so they had like a few, and they built like 2 or 3 or something. So they always had like one to parade around. Yeah.
Bruce, if you're not already modded, have somebody drop your link in the chat. I don't know if you're setting up that stream for Janet tonight or a little later, whenever you can. Go ahead and drop your link if you have the ability. If not, somebody else, I'm sure, will drop it for you. Always, guys, anytime you're in the chat, and if you have Dan Wrench on you, be sure to go ahead and plug your channel in the chat. I do not care. Support yourself here, too. I want you to support yourself over here. I want everybody to feel free that they can support their own channels, support their own projects, and get them out there. That's why every week, regardless, even if Yen's talking about Moonlight, which I don't want to have nothing to do with the Disney stuff, but you know what? Hey, if that's what he wants to watch and he wants to talk about it, go ahead and talk about, what you got coming up when you're talking about those shows. If you're going to be talking about Bond, or you're going to be talking about the stuff you're doing with your friends with the men's room, like Superfan Adam Shawhan over there, go ahead and promote that stuff, man. I do not care. I love you guys being able to come on here. Feel free to be able to support yourself, and we all support each other. And I know there's a lot of people talk about that. Well, we all support each other, and da-da-da-da. And there's another thing to actually say, hey, drop your links in the chat. Support yourself like you would like to be able to do on other channels, but they just won't allow it. That's never going to happen here. I don't care if I'm sitting at 700 subs 2 years from now, or if I'm sitting at 2,000 subs. It's going to be exactly the same, and I'm never going to change. I've always been the exact same bastard I have been from the day I started my channel, and I've been the same damn bastard, believe it or not, since I was about 13, 14 years old when my attitude changed. I have not changed this entire time, and I'm not planning on starting it now. So, hey, yeah, absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all the awesome people on the panel. I mean, it's always nice when I get a big panel, but you know what? Sometimes having a small panel with a couple of friends that just want to kick back and have some fun, maybe even possibly learn something new that one of us didn't know. Whether I'm learning something new when you're talking about the Lego stuff, or Jens is talking about some of the stuff with Bond that maybe I'm forgetting, or maybe I'm talking about some of the stuff with Transformers, some other franchises, and I'm dredging up those memories from the past. Maybe stuff that you kind of remember but forgot about it. Either way, guys, that's what we're here to do. support one another, have a lot of fun while we're doing this. So remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent. And once you go down that road, you're going to always wind up being a piece of garbage like all the people that are hanging out in the mainstream, destroying everything we love, man. Peace to all y'all. Have an awesome day or night, and we will catch you in the next one. Later, y'all.
Yep, bye.
Forget the bits you should spend. Assimilated, but you don't know it yet. Attacking us is not very wise. Our army's growing if we see through your lies.
What we are looking at, good and evil, right and wrong. It's a big world order. A big world order. A big world order. A big world order. Somebody's going to wind up getting their toes nibbled off in here. A big world order. 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 Better hide your toes as we're coming for them. A big world order. A big world order. A big world order.